Hey guys, well we're here again. We're back. I'm sorry it took so long, but it's been a while. And I hope you guys have been hanging in there. But today we're going to be back on the old Foxbody LS Swap Mustang. And you know when life throws things at you and you're just trying to get things done? And every time you do that, you turn around and something else is broken. Well, that's where I've been at lately, but I'm thankful that you guys have tuned in, and I hope that you guys enjoy what we've got in store today for this episode on Overland Garage. So a couple of things that I want to go over first before we get too crazy into stuff is what have we been doing and where are we at now? So you guys have missed some things, so I'm going to catch you back up. But the last time we were tearing out the interior and we were doing some other things, and we've gone a lot more in depth than that. And I'm going to tell you right now what you're going to want for today's project. Some of these. And a lot of elbow grease, because we're going to be getting our hands pretty dirty with this one, because what I found is not pretty. But you guys are going to hang in there with me, and you're not going to want to miss what we've got in store. So stay tuned for this. So one of the things I noticed right off the bat when I was tearing the interior out of this is I noticed that there was this really weird smell. Almost like dirty socks and underwear. And I was like, what is that? And so I took the back seats out, and it got ugly really quick. I started tearing the carpet out, and the floor started looking weird, and I was like, uh-oh. So I'm going to flip this around and show you what I got working with right now. And I don't think you're going to like it, what I see. But anyways, if you look in here and you see all of this, this is supposed to be all completed and no holes. Those are not for aerodynamics and weight reduction. There's been some mice in here, and so I'm doing the old mouse house delete kit, and I started cleaning all this up. So the reason why I say we're going to need gloves today is because we're going to vacuum all this out. I'm going to rip that right out of there. And then it's going to look kind of like this side over here. This is the plastic backing piece that's still in the car. But the main project was not any of this. This was a side project. This is the main project. So the reason why I'm talking about this is when I got the car, I ripped the carpet out, and I saw a holage. And this is a holy car. And it goes all the way up here. So it's a Flintstone mobile. And I thought, well, maybe I can just buy the floor section and go bzzz and weld a new one in. But then I just started looking at them. And for the price of them and the material they're made out of and the shipping and back order and not being Ford parts and all of the above, I just decided I have metal from another project that I think I can build a floor out of this. And who's going to ever look under this carpet and see this anyways? We're going to grind it all down and make it look nice. So instead of cutting all this, so this floor right here is still in really good shape. So instead of cutting all that out and ruining it, I'm just going to fix this and try to weld a new piece in here, grind some stuff up. And we're going to save as much of this as possible because there's really no reason to put a whole new floor section in here if we can fix these little holes. So that's what we're going to do. And we're on a budget. But, yeah, so that's where we're going to start. Start by trying to vacuum all of that up and clean all that up. And then we'll get into talking about this floor. So one thing that's been kind of concerning to me with this whole thing is like this stuff right here is all that, it's like that rubberized, it's sound deadener, but from 1985. And the problem with this stuff is it holds a lot of moisture, and unless you get the car completely dry when you're putting this stuff on, it's, excuse me, it's probably not gonna, what it's gonna do is hold moisture, and it creates like rust holes here. The other side over there, like right in this area here, I've got some rust starting. So, as you can see, it just creates a perfect scenario for moisture to build up and rust to get in. So, we are gonna pull this one out. Probably leave this piece here just because, and then like those under the seats are okay. There's no rust back there. So this is the only rust in the car. There's a little bit over there, but basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut some pieces of steel out. We're gonna clean this up real good so it's shiny. Get rid of some of these jagged edges, and we'll probably take the plasma and make a straight line on a lot of this so that we can take really good measurements. And I'm probably gonna reinforce the floor a little bit too. We're gonna add some extra steel in. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But yeah, we're gonna grind that all up and probably add some angle bar in here just to stiffen the floor up, because Foxbody Mustangs are pretty weak with their floors anyways, and the body likes to twist a lot. So we're gonna add some reinforcement anyways to the floor. Just, you know, just because. So I think the next thing we're gonna do is start grinding over there and get that all cleaned up. And the main reason why I vacuumed all this up is because, well, first of all, there's a lot of mouse fecal matter. We'll go with fecal matter, that sounds clean, in the car. And you shouldn't be breathing that, for one thing. And two, you don't want to be working around that because it's a pretty good health hazard. And I need to see what's under this stuff anyways, so we just need to get everything really clean so that we know what we're working with. But anyways, we're gonna clean all this up, try to shine it up as best as we can, and I'll clean that rust up real quick, and we'll see what we're working with. Alright guys, so first off, like I told you before, first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna clean everything out of here so we know what we're working with. Brown Ranger that I showed you guys on my Instagram. If you haven't seen that, check that out. But what I'm saying is, I'm using sheet metal from that truck to fix this car. This is the roof panel from that truck. So it's interesting to see how you can continue to reuse stuff from years ago, and it just keeps on living. So what I'm gonna do now is I've got some layout to do, and I'm gonna lay this out, and then we're gonna fire up the old plasma cutter and saw this thing out. And then we'll do a test fit and see if the first panel fits. You probably hear it out there behind me, but that's the generator, because I don't have 220 in this garage yet, and we're going to be running the plasma cutter. But one thing I wanted to note before we run the plasma cutter is make sure you got a good ground, some eye protection, and some hand protection, because you don't want to burn yourself, you don't want to blind yourself, and you want to make good accurate cuts. You need to see what you're doing. But without that, we're going to cut this piece out that I fabbed up and see how it fits. So I saved you some of the headache, and I prepped it all up, and I'll just show you what I've got in here now. So this is what I've got to work with to start, and we're gonna just start by putting little tiny tacks all the way around this so that we can get this floor pan fit. I think it's gonna be just good enough, and then I'll probably tie something in on this left hand side over here just to fill in this gap. I gotta jack this seat brace up a little bit, so we're gonna tie another piece into it right in this hole over here as well. But we're probably gonna cut a square piece out so that we have a nice even piece to work with and get this junk out of here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this at least tacked in so we can kind of see what we're working with, and then we'll move on to the next one. And this will probably be a two-part series because it's getting late in the night for this project, and I've got a lot of work to do. So stick with me, guys, and we'll keep getting this thing buttoned up. So one thing I wanted to just point out real quick and talk about when you're welding something like this. One thing I wanted to show you is anytime you're welding, especially two pieces of metal where they're pretty thin in material like this, you'll probably see what I started doing. And you want to tack where you can, And you only want to put little tiny tacks, because if you just get carried away and just start pounding the heat, you can see right here. I don't know if you can see this. We'll zoom in so you can see it, but I don't know if you can see it or not. But if you look right here, it started getting all purple, and that's because I was putting too much heat to it. But what you want to do is just put a bunch of little tacks, and then you're just going to keep going round and round until all those tacks are connected. And obviously I gotta put some metal in here and tie this all in. But what I'm saying is, you want to make sure that you're just tacking first, and then go back around, keep going back around until they're all tacked in. Then you can grind it and clean it up and make it look nice. But you don't want to just put a bunch of heat on that, because if you do, it'll warp it and it'll look terrible. But that's the basic idea. We're gonna keep going with the rest of this floor, but this is all I'm gonna do tonight because it's like 11 o'clock right now, and this old boy's getting tired, so we're gonna call it a night on this project. So I hope you guys enjoyed the content, and keep giving me some content suggestions. Sometimes it's easy to just come up with suggestions, sometimes it's not, and especially when you have a project like this where it's like you tear the interior apart and then you start finding stuff. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that stuff going on, but I appreciate all the support. We're up to like 280 in our subscribers. I'm going to throw some links down here to some of the stuff that I use for materials, the tools, the welder and such. And I'll be doing a review on the welder very soon because I'm very, very impressed with it. But I hope you guys enjoy the content. Keep hitting that subscribe button and keep getting out there. It's getting warmer, so let's get out there and build and explore. Thanks for watching Overland Garage.